You know it takes a squirt of insulin to efficiently remove the sugar from the blood. And this is your challenge. You're not producing a big enough squirt quick enough so sugar levels spike. This postprandial spike is trouble with a capital T. You need a better squirt. Why is your squirt not good enough? Odds are you're insulin resistant. This means you need to dispatch more insulin to get the job done. The problem with more insulin? Well, it's got to be made by the pancreas, which requires bright-eyed and bushy-tailed beta cells. And being bright-eyed and bushy-tailed when you're working like a dog is challenging. Also, the insulin that is produced has to get out of the blood and into the spaces surrounding individual cells. Despite insulin's reputation as a bit of a bully, under normal physiological conditions, insulin needs help getting through. Delivery challenges are frequently an issue. The final complication? Glucose gates are not standing tall, ready to receive the glucose. Cells need to arrange for them to move from inside of the cell to the periphery. Centered in the membrane, they are then ready to accept glucose deliveries. The glucose they receive is tossed into the mitochondrial furnaces to produce the energy cells need to go about their business. Hungry cells, that is cells that are in a fasted state, don't need any encouragement to assemble the gates. They're hungry, they're ready and waiting. But cells that are not so hungry, they need to be encouraged to prepare for a delivery. And this requires more than insulin release. It requires a little hissing. Join us for this episode of Better Body Chemistry TV as we find out how the liver ensures cells in the body roll out a welcome mat for insulin. Better Body Chemistry TV is brought to you by Dr. Sandy, a scientist turned gremlin buster, helping you battle sugar gremlins, heifer lumps, and other health horribles through better body chemistry. Remember, small things can make a big difference to your health. Hissing about insulin's arrival begins when the liver alerts all and sundry to the imminent arrival of the insulin sugar delivery by sending out something which scientists refer to as HISS, hepatic insulin sensitizing substance. Something? They know it exists, but they're still not 100% sure of what it is. They're not clueless. They know its release depends on a few things. First things first, his release depends on nerve stimulation, specifically stimulation of the parasympathetic nervous system. Now, the parasympathetic nervous system is part of the nervous system that runs you behind the scenes, known as the autonomic nervous system. It's automatic. You don't have to think about it. It just happens. What happens depends on what's going on. The parasympathetic side of the autonomic nervous system is in charge when life is running smoothly. It's sometimes referred to as the live and let live response. When life is not running smoothly, you're firing off the sympathetic side of the autonomic nervous system, otherwise known as the fight and flight response. So either you're digesting dinner or you're doing your very best to avoid being digested. In bygone days, you risked being digested by a wild beast. In modern times, you're more likely to be digested by your boss or succumb to the traffic. So the response to insulin release is best when life is good. Aish. This means if you're chomping down that low-fat Twinkie on the run, you're gonna find hissing a tad more challenging. So what does the nervous signal do? It causes a squirt of the gasometer nitric oxide deep inside the liver. And this combines with the antioxidant glutathione. Together, these guys hiss out the news. Insulin is coming. It's time for the skeletal muscle cells to roll out that welcome mat for insulin. As the skeletal muscles around the body respond to the news, GLUT4 gates are moved from the periphery to front and center. With the gates in place, the cells are ready and able to take the glucose on board. They're insulin sensitive. And so, when insulin finally arrives, there's no problems with delivery. Insulin pops into the lock, turns the key, and the gates swing open. The sugar rushes in. The process is quick and seamless. In a jiffy, enormous amounts of sugar are moved out of the blood and into the muscle, either to be used immediately or saved for later in the form of glycogen. When his is circulating, up to 55% of the available glucose is taken up by skeletal muscles. Quick, quick. When his is not circulating, sugar uptake is low and protracted. These high sugar levels cause damage. Glutathione tries hard to intervene, but the resulting oxidative stress ends up depleting the glutathione levels, which impairs his release. And so it begins. High sugar levels, high insulin levels, more damage, and less glutathione. Help your liver get the message out. Slow down to eat so that you stimulate that parasympathetic nervous system, allowing the brain to signal for nitric oxide to be released, and boost your liver's glutathione levels by eating foods rich in antioxidants. Keeping oxidative stress down by obeying the rule of thirds and supplying glycine, glutamate, and cysteine, the 3 amino acids which are the raw ingredients of glutathione. And make sure your cells are hungry. For more tips and ideas to overcome insulin resistance, download our free report at www.betterbodychemistry.com and begin the journey today to better body chemistry. Want to discover more ways to create better body chemistry so you optimize your health and the health of your family? Visit our website and browse our library or enroll in one of our courses or programs. The advice is simple to follow and based on real science. Know someone who's experiencing postprandial sugar spikes? Share this video with them so they learn how to get the message out. Insulin is coming. And if you enjoyed the video, be sure to subscribe to our channel so you catch future episodes of Better Body Chemistry TV. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Remember, small things can make a big difference to your health.